Okay, Tuesday night, getting it started early here. Cheryl O'Brien in the house. So good to see you. Seems like forever since we were together in South Dakota. Great show coming up tonight, coast to coast with Chris Simmons and Mike Lichter. Man, did you guys see the news today? Deadwood, like serious amount of snow. We just escaped that. I never thought I would have that kind of reason to say I'm so glad to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania right there. But yeah, nope, we're in Pittsburgh. Jeremy Sather in the house. Hey man, make sure you hit the like and share button so you can help us pass these programs along. It does a lot for us. Also, put up the name of your town. Where are you coming in from? We know we got our Cycle Source crew on hand here and everybody from our Chopper Town family. So wherever you're at in the world, let us know so we can give you a little shout out and increase the reach of this program. Going live in just 7.5 minutes. Stay tuned. Wow, 3 minutes left on the clock, and you guys are killing it, filling up the social media pages. Rob Nussbaum in the house. Jason Sims here with us tonight. Sonia Harden. Ryan Leighton Allen, good to see you. Kim Sparks. Man, so awesome to have all you guys with us. And like I said, great show tonight. It's going to be incredible. Mr. Michael Lichter is back on the air with us after a 1 week hiatus and our little Sturgis vacation. So we're back up and running. Tony Tello in the house. What's up, baby? Russ Journey, Kearney, Nebraska. Stick around just 2.5 minutes. We're going live with this one. James Evick, KC Mo, home of the Chiefs. What's up, buddy? Yeah, that NFL thing's getting up and running again, huh? It's Samuel Settle, hi from Chicagoland, one of my favorite parts of the country. Coming through there again here in just a couple days. 1 minute 34 left. I'll tell you guys what, it seems like we're right on time, which is incredible if you know anything about this operation. Really is something special to be on time. We always gauge our time with ish, but with 1 minute left, it looks like we can pull this one up out of the stables, get it saddled up, and go live with Coast to Coast. Here we go.
Hey everybody, how's it going out there? Chris Simmons here. Welcome to Coast. We're back. I'm in Hawaii in my studio/office. Again, was a great week. I want to thank Rob, before I go any further, Rob Nussbaum for sitting in last week. For Michael, who's been out with shoulder surgery. He's coming back tonight. Why don't we just bring him in? Hey, Mike, are you there?
I'm here.
There you are.
Got my shirt on, got my collar on, got my ice on, all ready.
How you feeling? I know. For those who don't know, Mike had surgery. You can tell them.
I had rotator cuff surgery. It was a complete tear and separation, a little over half-inch separation in the rotator cuff and the tendon. So they have to sew it back together and sew it to the bone and all that kind of stuff. So about 6 weeks, I'm going to be locked in this freaking thing and tethered to this ice machine the way I am. And,
wait, you just tell me how your wife was hosing you off in the shower.
Yeah, I got cleaned up today. She wanted me all cleaned up for the show. So it's like getting in the shower like a dog, right?
Oh, there's the sound effects.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Well, it's been an interesting day for you because you said there was like a 68-degree temperature drop from your house.
There was a 68-degree. I mean, it is unbelievable. So I've had the most wonderful week. Of course, oxycodone and whatnot. But sitting outside, it's been gorgeous with my plants that I spent all summer working on, and everything's great. And then all of a sudden they go, guess what? It's snowing tomorrow. So it's scrambling yesterday. I was literally transplanting with one hand my herbs into pots to try to save them in the house and things like that, and just saving stuff. But it really dropped like that. I mean, it was 92 degrees at 5 o'clock yesterday. when we woke up and it's snowing.
It's still, so how much snow did you get?
It's really wet. So it's just, actually now it's starting to stick. So probably when we're finished with the show, there'll be an inch on the ground, but it's going to snow overnight. It's crazy.
God. I heard it was snowing in Deadwood, and all those people who got out of Sturgis, before the snow.
Exactly.
Like
that's what it's like in the Rocky Mountains. So, I mean, it's also sort of a nice thing. I mean, it's one of those deals that when you're in it, you go, oh, God, crap. When you look back and you go, God, wasn't that amazing? Look at what happened and the changes. So it kind of makes you feel alive a little bit.
Well, I have to say I kind of miss snow. I mean, I'm from Chicago. We had big snow, delivering mail for 10 years. I had my share of snow for sure. But I have to say I'm a little jealous. I mean, I have rainbows and all that stuff and, and the beach and everything. But I like a good, pretty snow once in a while. So
well, I saw that rainbow you posted yesterday, and that was friggin' gorgeous. Was that from your house?
That was.
Oh my God!
I saw when I was driving today, and I tried to drive through it, and I just couldn't catch it. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't catch it.
It was hitting the tall tree in the background. I thought maybe you can climb that tree. Pot of gold up there.
So you had your bike show in Sturgis. I heard it was a really cool success. I didn't go.
It seemed to be. It was well received. I know I just shipped the final files today. They're doing a 16-page cover story in Freeway France magazine on the exhibition. So on the bikes and artwork. So it's pretty cool. And it was all changed because in a month before, we changed it to what's called the Unlocked edition. And I made it a 2-part, 2-year show. Next year will be all new bikes. This year is many older bikes. And so I think that's going to have legs. It's going to be really cool. I have a year to work on it, which is great. So to promote it. And so that seemed to come off well. And it was our reaction to COVID. And it seemed to work.
Well, I did see Cyclosaurus magazine was there covering it, and that was really fun. And I saw Scott Jacobs walk through there doing a tour of showing some of the artwork that was on the walls, and as well as your photographs. And again, I think it was a really cool show. I'm sorry we missed Sturgis, but there's always next year. So
that's right. We'll be back stronger next year, right?
I hope so. Definitely.
Look at this. It's like, who could have planned better having this shoulder surgery right now? And the thing I was really bummed out about was missing Born Free, because it was postponed to September 20th or 26th or something. I'm going like, oh God, maybe I should wait and just kind of suffer through Born Free. But I kind of lucked out. I'm really not missing anything.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get through it, and you'll be stronger than ever, and
we'll come back stronger in all sorts of ways.
That's right. Well, we have a great show tonight. Someone that I just adore. I don't know. I kind of remember. It's one of the only people I think that you didn't introduce me to, because you've introduced me to so many people over many years.
I didn't introduce you to the Klocks. It's crazy.
I don't know if you did. You probably did. Maybe Laura would know. I don't know. Anyway, we want to bring out Laura Klock with us. She can tell you all about herself, but I want to bring her out right now. So come on in, Laura, and here she comes. Hey, you have company. I love it.
I do. She climbed up here. She was listening to you guys. We were having fun listening to you talk about everything going on.
Hi, Thea. Say hi. Hi. She can walk, but she's not saying hi right now.
Yeah. Well, Laura, it's so good to see. It's been a long time, and I'll tell you, I'm really excited to hear what you've been up to, because I know so many stories from before, but I'm interested in hearing the updates as well.
Okay.
Totally. So how did we meet? Was it Michael or? I can't remember.
I heard you say that, and I was trying to remember too. It's been a long time. I mean, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah, I think I know we did before Biker Bells. There was Pink and Proud at the Buffalo Chip, and you were involved in starting that with us and Meg, and I think our first people, Gloria was there, and my husband, and it was just a small group of us.
Athena, was it? Was it Athena? Did she introduce us?
It could be. I don't know. And then I met you, and then we rode to Cody, went to the Motor Maids convention.
Yeah.
We flew in there and rode with you and Gloria. And Lori met us. And that was fun riding with Gloria, huh?
Oh my gosh. That is one of those once in a lifetime things. Like, I'm so proud to say I got to ride with her. And remember, we got back to Mitchell and she wanted to keep going. And it was like midnight when we got here. So
yeah, I think that was a 650-mile day. And we were like, we're on the road with Gloria. I'm like, Gloria, do you want to stop? Do you want to rest and have a drink of water? And no, let's go. Let's go.
Let's keep going.
Scarf.
Let's keep going. Yeah, she never even took her helmet or gloves off at the gas stops, remember? And we would all go in and get water or something, and Gloria's just waiting for us patiently, like, come on.
She would just
let's
stand
go.
by her bike, and I'd be like, no pressure. How was she, like 85 then or something? You know, it was 2010. She was only 85.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, I don't know, Chris and Michael.
And then you went on, and you and Chickie Athena Ransom came on to be my all-girl crew in the 2010 Cannonball.
I know.
And that was epic. And I want to have you on with Athena, and we'll come back and talk about that another day. But I believe that was quite a bonding experience. And like I said, we'll talk about that later. But I've just been amazed by you and all the things you've done all these years, and just wanted to catch up with you. And how did you start riding? Let's go back to when you lived in Wisconsin, I believe, right?
Yep, I grew up in the country in Wisconsin, and my dad was a motorcycle rider, so I have to say he introduced us to it. But we had a little dirt bike, and we lived out in the country. And I say we, I mean my brother and I. So I just was always around things motorized, and my parents, it was one. I mean, I'm in my 50s, but so back then it was one of those things. It wasn't like they said you can't do that because you're a girl or anything like that. There just wasn't boundaries like that. So we tooled around. We had a little 3-wheeler. Do you guys remember 3-wheelers before ATVs came out, and you could do wheelies on them and flip them over really easy? So just snowmobiles, all of that. But we had a dirt bike. It was a Suzuki 175. And I remember, I think I was in 8th grade. I was taking a photography class, and we had to do black and white photography, and all my pictures were of my little dirt bike. So
our careers are similar in photography and motorcycles.
Yeah. Hey, imagine that. Well, I'm not as good as you, Michael.
And I think you and Michael met earlier, maybe when you worked for Clockworks. I don't know. When did you guys meet?
When do you think that was, Laura? Do you know year?
My gosh. You guys, you're really testing my memory here. I don't know. I feel like I've known you both forever. So let's just go with that.
Well, it was whenever the world's fastest bagger, before you started that project.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Right.
When I first got to Clockworks, we were asked to be on the Discovery Channel Biker Build-Off. And it was right, I don't know. I mean, here at the shop, Ryan worked on all sorts of bikes and, anything that came through the door in a small town. And a lot of that was like his dad's friend's bikes. So it was baggers, and they weren't really cool at the time. And it really was just kind of a marketing idea because we were developing a parts line. And so we decided to do a bagger for the show. And then that just expanded into, wouldn't it be cool to drag race it? I don't know if you guys remember, but that bike had a wheelie bar on it originally during the Biker Build-Off show. And then, I don't know, I had heard about the Bonneville Salt Flats. I didn't even know if you could race a motorcycle there. So we just started researching it. And next thing you know, we're at the Bonneville Salt Flats. We won the Biker Build-Off. And gosh, when was that? 2006. So we decided we would see what that bagger would do on the salt, and thought, again, marketing ideas that, would get a little more attention if a woman was the pilot, and we happened to have a female motorcycle rider on our team. So that is really how it started.
What was that like, going down the salt for the first time? I can't even imagine.
And that picture right there, Michael, like that is the first time we were there, because it doesn't have the flare windshield on it yet. So like literally that was probably one of the first few passes. It was a little intimidating, we didn't know what I could do or what the bike could do. And it was sort of, let's just go see what happens. And next thing you know, I'm hitting the 140s, and then I had a goal of 150 and hit that. And so, one thing that I experienced was a real lift on the front end of the bike. And so when I reported that to the team, we kind of brainstormed about it all the way home a little bit with your hand out the window, like how can we push down on the front of the bike? And honestly, that's how the flare windshield was born.
Wow, history. There it
yeah.
is. That's where the flare came from. Okay.
It is.
To get ready for the show today, I watched again Clocked, Women with Horsepower, and I'm going to plug that for any listener that's out there. If you have not heard, if you haven't seen that documentary, it's well produced, really well put together. It's Laura and the girls' whole story and puts it into perspective, and it really captures the excitement and also I know there was fear involved. There's so many different elements to this, and I'm sure you can address some of that. But I remember talking about that non-flared first attempt on the salt, and I guess you were warned, don't go over a certain speed because there's lift, and then all of a sudden they say, you're just going down the salt, and they hear that engine, and it just keeps going and going. So what was going on in your head there? Like, I mean, you obviously had a big warning, but you decided that something was you were doing something else. What's the story behind that? The backstory.
The backstory. Well, go out there. Don't worry about it. Even if we make one pass, no one's ever run a bagger before. And I guess when the story is told by anybody else, they said that I don't listen very well. So it just, it's the same thing I told my girls when they started racing, was like everything felt good, and you just kind of go for it. You're out there, you wait in line for a couple hours before you get to take a pass. And so when you get out there to do it, you don't want to waste any moments. So that motorcycle is still one of the coolest bikes ever, but it growls and it sounds really amazing when you have it wide open. So yeah, I didn't listen very well, and I just hit all the gears right and went for it. I don't know.
Where is that bike now? Do you still have that bike? Where is it?
Yeah, it's around here. It's here. It's at Clockworks. It was in the motorcycle museum in Anamosa for quite some time, for a few years down there.
Cool.
Hey, Cris and Michael, real quick, we actually have that clip pulled up, the Women with Horsepower, and Heather threw a link up for it for everybody to watch it. Do you want to watch just a couple of seconds to give people an idea?
Please do it. It's wonderfully done. It's really great. Everybody's got to see it.
Yeah, it's so cool. Oh my God.
That group of kids built that motorcycle, you guys.
Definitely a
That's
zen
right.
moment through the mile, especially when you know you're flying and you hit all your shifts right.
It gives you the chills watching this. Awesome.
There's little Karlee.
It's Karlee. Well, there goes Thea's mom.
You challenge yourself, you challenge your machine.
So I should tell you guys a little bit about.
I grew up in the country in Wisconsin, and we were just around things, all things motorized.
That's really wonderful, Laura. It was really great. It gives me the chills to watch it. What's it like watching your kids going down the salt? I mean, that's at those speeds. How did that feel? I mean, how old was Karlee the first time she went?
Okay, well, in South Dakota, you can get your driver's license when you're 14. So you had to have your driver's license at the time to race on the salt flats. The second year we went, Erika was already 16, so she was able to race. And then Karlee the following year. So she actually, when she set a record on that little Beal Blast that you guys saw, she went about, what'd you go, 107. And that was a record in that class with that motorcycle. And she was the youngest person, not youngest girl, not youngest, youngest person to ever set a record on the salt flat. Now
Wow.
they've changed the rules since then. They in other forms of racing, like dirt bike racing and stuff, they limit the CCs so that younger people can race. You know, like you can go and see 10-year-olds racing. They're just limited by what size bike they can go on, and so they have changed some of that on the salt flats now. But back when we were doing it, you know, we kind of used the South Dakota thing. She was able to get her driver's license. So.
Wow, that's something. But when you meet Karlee now, you know she's a badass. She doesn't have to say, "Gee, but when I was a kid, I was the youngest person to get a record on the salt." It's like she's badass. She doesn't have to say it. It's part of her.
They so take it in stride. I mean, people ask me all the time, like, what did it feel like as their mom? And you know, whenever I talk about it, I say I relate it to life. Like, you teach them everything that you know, and you tell them to be safe, and you pray, and you kiss them on the helmet, and you send them down the track. Like, when they face a issue or a problem, you hope that they remember something you told them. You don't get to twist the throttle for them when you send them off, you know? So you just hope that they have the right tools in their toolbox to do the right thing and make the right choice. And one thing about racing was, you know, it wasn't what we did for a living. We had awesome sponsors for different things, but that pressure of, like, I always told them, if something doesn't feel right, just get off the track. I mean, it's not, we don't have to push that hard, but they push. That's their nature, you know. And we all had goals that we tried to reach every year. And you know, we were out there from 2006 to 2012, I guess it was. Ultimately, being the first mother-daughter trio in history to set records at the same time, but then also the first mother-daughter all over 195 miles an hour by the time we were done. We didn't get to hit the 200. It was a couple years of weather in a row that canceled them, and then college, and now they're moms, and maybe someday.
Okay, wait, we got to get mother, daughter. Wait. Yeah.
daughter, son. We got a son in there. We got a boy in our midst now.
Corona. That's right.
Yeah. He's not with us tonight.
So what came first in the Sturgis Hall of Fame? I know you got inducted in the Sturgis Hall of Fame, and then I think the helping with horsepower came kind of in that same time, or?
Well, helping with horsepower, I just had a real desire. There's a residential treatment center in town here called the Abbott House, and they house at-risk girls. And they came one day and were introducing themselves, and of course, you know, looking for support and donations. And I asked them, I said, you know, I was able to use motorcycles as such a cool parenting tool. Like, that sounds strange, but you know, I taught them how to challenge themselves and face problems and handle success and handle failure, and just so many cool things, just in the extreme sense out on the salt flats. But I knew that motorcycles were this neat tool that we could use. And so I asked the Abbott House, like, you know, is there any way that I could get the girls in the treatment center involved with motorcycles? And I was a motorcycle safety instructor for 10 years here. They couldn't do that when they're in care. So I just had the idea of bringing a motorcycle to them. And we ended up taking it right in a classroom, and we rebuilt the motorcycle and taught them about life lessons while we were doing that. Teamwork, asking for help, working through problems, talking about ideas, you know, all of that great stuff. You're looking at the Helping with Horsepower website there. We also do therapy with horses now too, and the Abbott House girls come out there. So ultimately we rebuilt 6 motorcycles, and then we would raffle them off, and we raised, $500,000 for those guys over 7 years. But the red motorcycle that you saw on the beginning of that documentary, Lloyd Greer of Lloyd Motor Works in Pine Bush, New York, he heard about the program and he wanted to learn more about it. So we collaborated on it, and he led a class from Pine Bush High School through that program. And they, you guys gotta love to laugh.
That's right.
So
That's
anyways,
so cool.
they built that red motorcycle that you saw, and I went there to, we were doing some PR and stuff because they wanted to build a bike to take to the Bonneville Salt Flats. And when I got there, they asked me to sit on the bike because they wanted to fit the seat and stuff. And I was like, why? Why are you having me sit on there? And they said, well, you're our pilot. And, I don't know, but if I thought somebody else was I just didn't think about it that way. I was just so excited about what they were doing. I wanted to teach them and bring them to the Salt Flats. And they had me be the pilot of their bike.
So
and,
cool.
the red bike there. And we ran that in a couple different classes and had to work through some issues with the kids, and it was, like the way they routed the pipes, I ended up burning my leg really bad at one point, and I was trying to hide that from the kids. And, Lloyd was like, no, they have to go through this whole experience. And it was good for all of us. But that picture at the beginning of the documentary where, there we go.
That's awesome.
On that bike. Yeah. So that was a group of at-risk youth at Pine Bush High School in New York. So,
So
leave it up to you, Laura, to make some good things happen for people through motorcycles.
Absolutely. What an amazing tool, you guys. The people that don't ride them think they're kind of cool and intriguing. And, it was so fun to watch my own daughters and then all the other kids and people that I've been able to help and teach. And just teaching for that long was, there's thousands of riders around here that we put through our class. So
where are these programs at now? Since I guess about almost 4 or 5 years have passed.
At one point I had 8 of them going across the U.S. So, it was I wrote a curriculum and I just helped them. Like, here's what I did. Here's how we got national sponsors involved. So some of our sponsors would help every location that started. Some of them I would go there. There was one in Colorado there, and just help them as much as I could to kind of emulate what we were doing. And there was in Omaha, Nebraska, a group of boys actually did one. It was boys and girls. It grew pretty big. And then what happened here was the Abbott House started building foster homes out in the Rapid City area and just kind of had to change their focus a little bit. Because it was a real handoff that would happen. Like, I would be in the classroom one day a week for 20 weeks is how we would set it up, working with the girls. They would pick the paint and the name, and, we would just make over a motorcycle. And then it was a real handoff. Then the development director and all the great people at the Abbott House would take it on tour and sell tickets, and we would help with that too. We always had it in Sturgis and at the Biker Bells ride, of course. And, so awesome. They're doing really great stuff. Like, they've built some boys' homes out there now, so their focus isn't just on girls. And so then we transitioned a little bit and have them on the horses. That is exactly the day that I just talked about. They're like, get up there, we have to fit the seat to you. So, I started crying because they were all like, well, yeah, you're our pilot. And do you see the 2 young girls in the back there? And
they're like, we're not getting on their thing. You think we're crazy? No, I'm kidding.
Guys, I can't even, I've threatened to write a book about the Salt Flat experiences, but those kids were standing with me at the starting line. And I've had moments where my own daughters have stood with me. So the very last motorcycle that we raced, I'm jumping around now a little, but we all rode the same motorcycle, Erika and Karlee and I. Yeah. And our goal was to go 200 on that bike. And it was a BMW.
Well, you know what? Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll bring the girls in. How's that? Okay?
Yeah,
all right, perfect. You guys. Here's a commercial break from our sponsors, and we'll see you in a couple minutes. Come right back.
So Josh is downstairs.
I tell you what, we have the coolest commercials. I have to sit here and listen to the music, and I'm like, yeah, tires.
They are cool.
Sturgis Line.
Dance away.
I know. What the heck? Okay, let's bring on the group. It's Laura and her beautiful daughters, Erika and Karlee. Are you guys here? Come on in.
There they are.
We have Thea, not Corona tonight.
Thea's a superstar.
Yeah,
She's all over the place. We were talking about you on the salt, girl. Erika's, no, I don't think so. Oh my God, we haven't seen you girls in such a long time. How are you?
Now they're mamas.
I know. Welcome to the club. Now you know how it feels, huh?
Hey, you have those long sleeve shirts on. Could they be rolled up so we could see the sisters?
Mike's obsessed with your tattoos, your sister tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, the tattoos?
Sisters.
I think we got a picture of one
We
of
got
them.
a picture, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See? Oh my goodness, look at that.
See, you're not going to ever get away from that. It's in there, okay? It's with you forever.
Boy, that part of the movie, I really enjoyed that in the documentary where
There it is.
the girls were, I guess, Karlee broke a record and then Erika wanted to break it. And then there was the question about using Karlee's bike and this whole familial thing. Like, how does Laura feel about it and step in and what do you do? It was really a fascinating, the whole story. It's inspirational. And what's great is, it's motorcycles, but it's really, like Laura said, it's about life. Motorcycles are about life. And it's a good, I don't know, represents everything, doesn't it?
Oh, it really does. I mean, think of the roads of life, I just can't even imagine any other way to have taught them a lot of things. And then they taught me things. I mean, we had started talking about that riding the same bike thing. Which story do you want to hear? Do you want to hear about them sharing Karlee's bike, or you want to hear about the three of us sharing a bike?
I like that little tiny bike that Karlee was riding when she was little. What was that?
Fuel blast. Yeah. Well, Erika rode it first. Okay.
There you go.
So the second year I raced, Erika raced. Karlee wasn't old enough yet, and Erika set a record on that bike. And then the next year, Karlee was old enough. Erika moved on to a team. She had, a bigger bike. And so it was all about, we had been to the wind tunnel with the flare windshield, and Karlee and Erika each got to do a pass in the wind tunnel at, these 14 and 16 years old, like who gets to do that kind of stuff, And so Karlee.
Oh my God, did you have to really hold on, Karlee? You're small. You're a little girl. You like holding on to that thing or what?
Karlee knew she was less dragged, so she was kind of cocky about the fact that she was going to take Erika's record. And Erika was a good sport, and they kind of ribbed each other back and forth. And then at the end of it all, they had decided they were never going to do that again. They were going to do their own thing, and they did end up doing that again. So it was kind of interesting. But they each kind of had their own path. I mean, on what bikes they were riding. Erika rode for another team.
What team did you ride for, Erika? Oh, Erika's on the other side. There she is. It's backwards. What team did you ride for?
The Buell sisters with Santa Claus.
You did.
Yeah, she rode that yellow Beal that they bring out there. She had to apply for the position and tell them why they should choose her. It was pretty cool. It was a really neat experience. Just, we had a great, just working with a different team and a different motorcycle and how different groups do things, even on the salt. So, yep.
Wow. So how many records did you guys, I know you still hold some of them probably with this mother, daughter, but are there some other ones that you guys still hold?
I think Erika still has one in the books on a Buell. Yeah, I don't know either. I guess we haven't looked. To me,
don't tell you.
They're listed in the the AMA and we did AMA and SCTA events.
Right. So how fast did you guys all? What was your fastest speed? Each of you. Do you remember? You probably know that, right? What do you think? Who went the fastest?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear the story?
Really?
So bittersweet.
Let's hear it.
So we were all riding the same motorcycle, that BMW, that red bike, and Erika and Karlee passed that bike back and forth all day long, and I had so much fun watching them, because when we were all on separate motorcycles, like sometimes we would start out together in the morning, but then sometimes I wouldn't see them the rest of the day. I would just get reports, and because where you were in line or what was going on with your bike. But with that bike, we were sharing it, and Erika would come in and she'd tell Karlee something, and Karlee would come in and tell Erika. And so I never ran that whole day. And we got to the hotel that night, and I said, girls, I had so much fun today just being your mom. Like, maybe, I don't need to set another record if you just want to go for it again tomorrow. And they were like, Mom, we can't be the mother, daughter without the mother. And so we were first in line that morning, and the sun was just coming up, and the girls were standing next to me on the starting line, and they told me all their tips. This is when you shift. This is when you put your butt up in the air. This is when, and I'm like, you're moving around on that motorcycle at 190 miles an hour. And they're like, yep, you gotta. And it's one thing with Karlee to tell you something, but it's another one Erika tells you, because Erika's a safety Sam and Karlee is not. And so I looked at Erika and I said, did you do that? Did you shift back going that fast? And she did. And so I did everything they told me, and I could tell it was the fastest I've ever gone. And I went faster than both of them, and they were mad.
Oh no, that's what you get for telling her. See?
Is that 197?
Because of them. It was because of them. Like I couldn't coach them at that point because they had done something I'd never done.
So how fast was it?
I went 196.797.
Wow.
So, will any of the three of you desire to get back on the salt again?
Yeah, good question. You guys haven't done it in a while, right?
It's been quite a few years.
You guys want to say?
It got very silent.
Do you have a desire to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't have a desire to go faster. I've always wanted to drive a belly tanker car or an old antique motorcycle. I don't want to go faster, but what do you want to do?
Cool.
Well, my goal is 200, but if I can go faster and faster, I would do it.
So you're still going to go for 200. When do you think you may get back to the salt?
Wow.
I know.
Well, Karlee, weren't you doing some other kind of racing? Weren't you getting into some kind of road racing? You went to some road race school a few years ago? You both did?
We both went to a couple.
Uh-huh.
They went to the Jason DeSalvo, I always say his name. They went to the School of Speed on Triumph motorcycles down in Florida, and they went together. And
Right.
And then a couple times at Barber
yeah,
in Alabama.
Oh, how was that? Was that kind of cool? It's different than, you're turning left there, right? You're not going straight. What was that like?
well, that track's pretty
Or is
crazy.
it a road
though.
race course?
That one's got,
Yeah.
that one has everything. Very complex course. But it was definitely fun. They were quite impressed by the way we rode, but that type of racing is a full-blown life commitment. Like, you can't just go a year and decide to quit and expect to still be something. So
You look good going through those turns in the road race.
Yeah.
Erika, what about you? Erika, do you think you may go back?
yeah. She's a
it's
full-blown
hard.
mommy.
Like she said, when you're that close to 200, to just want to hit 200 to say you've done it and accomplished it. But yeah, my life's changed a lot.
Well, do you? Karlee's work has stayed in. I'm sorry, Karlee stayed involved with the motorcycling, working at Klocked. What about you, Erika? Hey, are you still riding and involved in any way?
We did ride. We had a group of friends that rode, but now my age group and all my friends, they've all were having kids and got married, so everybody's kind of settled down a little bit. But I do foresee it coming back around eventually.
I have to tell you, it does.
Four-wheeler.
It does, and it will. If you want to, you can, right? No pressure. Be a mom,
Grandma's
enjoy
got
your
a
kids.
sidecar, so.
Yeah, we still ride the sidecar. That's easy to throw a little bit.
And Laura, you got to go to
I've already
Biker Bells.
had-
What was that like? What was that like going to Biker Bells this year?
For me,
Yeah, you got to ride the biker bells, didn't you? You rode. I think you
Oh,
went
I
there.
did. Yeah, my friend Nicole and her mom Jackie. Her mom's just going through radiation for breast cancer, and she rode in the sidecar, and so it was so. She smiled the whole day, and it just really made my trip to have a.
That's awesome.
I wasn't gonna go because Karlee wasn't gonna go, and but
Right.
I love biker bells, and I was one of the founding members, and I knew there'd be tributes to Jesse and stuff this year, and so I'm glad I got to go quick and come home. And Crystal Young, a friend of mine I do the horse therapy with, we brought her motorcycle out, and it was her first time riding out there, so I kind of had a higher purpose, I guess, this year.
That's
So
cool.
that-
Well, I'm glad you went. I know you're riding with me in spirit. I was with you there too. So,
Yeah.
and I want to hear what you're doing now, Laura. I know it's totally something that you probably never thought you'd be doing, but tell us what you're doing now.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I
I ended
love
up
it.
on
I'm
a
sorry. I
farm.
love it. You live on
And
a
I've
farm.
dealt with rescue animals and all sorts of stuff, but oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, I love that
made
picture.
cheese.
Look at that nose.
I made
That's
cheese
so cool.
today. So yeah, there's Chad in the picture there. His parents milk cows about 3 miles down the road from our farm, and we use their milk, and we retrofitted an old dairy farm and turned it into a small creamery. So it's an on-farm processing. And
Oh
we
my God. I got to get some of this
Oh
cheese.
God, that looks good.
I know.
So,
Spitfire
yeah,
told me that she got some. Our friend Vicky
little
said
bit
she got
different, but
some.
you know what? When I went out to Sturgis this year, I had to haul my bike because I had to be there and back. And I used to jab people about hauling their bike out, but I'm at a point in my life now where I don't feel like I have to prove anything motorcycle wise. I've ridden a lot of miles, so I had about 6 coolers of cheese with me to drop off at some customers out there. So the world collides sometimes.
That is awesome. Well,
What's your
we like-
favorite cheese there that you're making?
yeah, I want to get some.
Well, we're from Wisconsin, and so you take fresh squeaky cheese curds for granted until you move somewhere that doesn't really have them. And so we
Oh my
entered
God. Okay, Mike, have you had cheese curds?
I have on the
You
cannonball
have?
going through Wisconsin, of course.
Oh, that's right. In Cannonball, we had some. I used
Yeah,
to
we
carry
have
them in my
to.
Yeah.
saddlebags.
What about that aged? What is that 7-year aged cheese? What was that?
That's my favorite.
It's not my favorite. Karlee loves it.
Who's Carlee's favorite?
The aged cheese.
It actually sits with a wax coating, and it ripens for that long. It's actually, we purchased a little artisan cheese company, and so we got some of her inventory too. And it actually sat in the cooler for 7 years. And people that love sharp cheese, like that's the longer it sits, the more moisture escapes from it, and it actually develops like crystals. And it's you can't slice it anymore. It kind of breaks off, but the flavor is unbelievable. Like I can only eat a crumb of it because it's so strong. It's not, I mean, it's just, I was really shocked that Karlee goes for the good stuff every time she comes out and visits us.
So you don't actually make the aged cheese there then? Someone else is making that?
Oh no, we make it, but we've only been making cheese for about 2 years. So we have some 2-year aged, but like,
Gotcha.
You'll pick a batch and you always tuck some wheels to the back of the cheese cave, and you check on them and flip them and wash them with salt water once. Yeah, right there.
So
Flip
next
them
year you'll have
over.
some 3-year, and 2 years you'll have some 4-year. Keep going.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Awesome.
We're going to have to get
So-
some cheese, Mike.
I know we do.
Okay.
I'll
hungry.
send you some
I
cheese.
love it. I love it.
So then,
So did motorcycles, how do
Yeah.
motorcycles play in your life now? Or are they just on the side? Do you get on a road bike once in a while?
yeah, I still have I have a 91 Harley still that I've had since the girls were little. Actually, I think there's a picture of it on my Facebook page on the main. Michael, look at all these pictures you
I've
took.
never seen
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
we
know.
show a lot of them.
You know, we should,
I
I
have
don't think,
Always
maybe we
been
can
a
get
D-Rock
Chris to
fan.
roll some from the beginning. I don't think they
Yeah,
started
the ones
from
with the
beginning.
girls on the salt. Those are my
Yeah,
favorite
there's
too.
one from Laura that starts it all off.
Yeah, the
And,
first one, Laura on the salt. These are such
yeah.
great.
That
I
one
used to
remember
go
being
out.
out on the salt with Laura, and and there was a storm coming in, and everybody's scrambling off. And I'm going, oh, please, just one more picture. It's the frame number 1 for Chris Calendar. If you could bring that up, the first shot on the
That's it.
reel.
Yeah, you captured that.
We're missing LO1. Okay, that's the first one you got.
So you guys, if you've never been in a storm on the salt flats, do you know those static balls you touch like in science class and your hair sticks straight up? That's what it's like out there when a storm starts coming through. It's like electrical.
Wow, I never thought of that. Your hair is
standing up and you gotta get off the
salt. We have some other pictures of the 3 of you guys on the salt flats. I don't know if you can find those, Chris. And that was near the beginning. I guess they didn't load those. And then there's one of you kissing the helmet there. Yeah, oh, wow.
Okay.
That's cool.
So this was the 150-mile-an-hour thing where she borrowed Karlee's motorcycle. Karlee Erika literally had, you have your goals. First it was get out there, see what you can do on the bike. Then you always want to go faster. It's just in you. So the next goal was 150. Well, Karlee, we didn't know that little Dyna would go 150 miles an hour, and I almost called her a little, can I swear? Anyway, she gets on that bike and she goes like 156 miles an hour. And we're like, what the heck? And so then Erika was a little upset. Like the bike, she was setting a record actually on that Buell. I think that record still stands, but she was in the high 130s and she was kind of upset. Like her bike wouldn't go 150. So the only way she was going to reach her goal at that event was if Karlee borrowed her bike. And Karlee made her wait until the very last day, and then she let her borrow it. And Erika literally had like 2 chances. That was it. And we were going to be out of time. And so she did her first pass in the high 130s, and she qualified for a return. And I am praying in the car, like, please let her go 150, but don't let her go 157, because I didn't want her to go faster than Karlee. And she went like 152. So Karlee went up to the window where you get your timing slips. That's what you see in the picture. And they gave Karlee the wrong one. And it said 116 miles an hour on it. And she goes, no, this isn't my sister's, but can I keep this? So she walks over to Erika and hands her that.
Oh,
and
Erika, you're bad.
Sometimes you don't know, like you don't know how fast you went, So Erika drops her head and has some tears because she knows she doesn't get another chance. And Karlee didn't let her suffer too long, though. Then she goes, no, I'm just kidding. Here's your ticket.
Oh, and man, that's sisters for you, huh?
Oh, my gosh. I tell you.
Wow. I'm kind of curious with Karlee. Of the 3 of you, Karlee stayed in the motorcycle business. So I'm kind of curious, Karlee, do you have any plans, like goals down the road? I know your mom has set some pretty high examples for you with all her volunteer efforts and what she's done raising money and helping kids in need. But and I know you said you'd like to go 200. So what are some of your goals? You built a beautiful custom bike for one of my exhibitions 3 years ago. Where does that stand? Where does Karlee Cobb go in 10 or 20 years?
That's a cool
bike.
bike.
As far as Clockworks, I don't know if I'll build another bike. I just don't know. She's too pretty.
That was a cool bike.
Right now, actually, I went from accounting department, and I am in the social media and marketing. So I'm trying to get higher up in the marketing here at the shop. But as far as building bikes, I just, I guess lucky is maybe not the right word, but for a few years there, because Scouts had just come out and because, I was decently known in the industry, I did get asked a few times to build around the Scouts for my age group and price range of the Scouts and such. So they definitely used me as a very good example for the age range of what can be done for, a good price bike. And now I have my 2, and short people too, because I am very short.
I have to say that was a beautiful bike. Both of those bikes are just great. I remember both of them when they came out, and I was so proud of you.
Oh, that Red Indian for the exhibition was gorgeous. That was a real beauty. I love that bike.
Nice.
Yeah,
And they
I mean,
actually
a modern bobber, really. I mean, it's very, very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. So as far as, work wise, I'm building my way up here at the shop. But I don't know about the building thing. I'm always involved though, like,
You have an eye for it.
well, yeah, whatever happens as far as like, because obviously we build a lot of different parts and stuff here. I'm very much involved in that part as well,
That's
behind
okay.
the scenes at the
And
shop.
your mom. So you know what? It's okay. We all take a little time off for our families.
Hey, it's
okay.
one day at a time when you enter that world, isn't it?
That's right. You got a little one.
Really?
He's awesome. He's gorgeous.
Wow.
That's a cool picture.
So Karlee
Great
had
stuff.
her senior pictures taken on the salt flats too. So that was kind of
Yeah.
fun.
What a great place to have your picture taken out there.
Really,
Yeah.
so many good pictures. You guys have made so many wonderful memories.
And inspired so many people.
Oh yeah, so many.
A lot of inspiration.
You still are. You still
Okay,
are. you guys.
listen to this though. So I trained as well, like Mom did, in the safety course. And I have a
She was an
friend who
instructor.
actually wanted to learn how to ride a dirt bike, and she's very much
Oh,
a girly girl. Like, she works at a salon, she has to have her nails done, she doesn't like them broken, all of the above, but she wanted to learn how to ride a dirt bike. And just a month ago, it took about 2 days for her to catch on, and she actually joined her first dirt bike race the other day and finished out of a group of 10 girls, and she finished 7th, I think, and she had only rode 3 or 4 times.
Mhm.
My
So it's
gosh.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Karlee and I taught together for several years, the motorcycle safety course. So,
That's great.
and both of these girls already, I mean, like the Abbott House stuff and all of that, they both were involved. I mean, they're either supporting me or learning or helping. Erika was taking a class in college at one point, came in and she sat in on the very first motorcycle that we did at the Abbott House, and really helped me by telling me what she saw. And I went in there with like this outline and the strip, like that's how it was going to go, and that was out the window in the first 15 minutes. And
Right.
so she
Wow.
was doing a report and a study on it. So they've
That's
been
great.
very involved with all of that.
Erika, are you still? You're a massage therapist, aren't you?
Yes.
I think that's what you're doing.
Yep.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I'm almost coming up on my 7th year now of doing that.
Wow, time flies. Well,
I know.
gosh, it's really
She
been
has
great catching up with you girls. I'm just
She's being
so
humble.
happy.
She has her own business.
I have
Yeah.
to say, I'm kind of
massage
fascinated with Laura's ability to reinvent her life as well.
Yeah.
Because that's not easy. I mean, I'm somebody that I'm living on the same street now for 40 some odd years. And
Gee, Mike.
I know. And in the same career for photographing for over 40 years. And I've been married for almost 40 years. I mean, it's like,
Well,
Yeah, we got a new shoulder.
and so I think I admire that. I think it's really amazing to just say, well, I'm going to start over. I'm going to do something totally new. And I mean, how did you come to that, Laura?
Oh gosh. Some changes you need to make in your life sometimes, and some are made for you. And I can't sit still. I know that. And my brain goes all the time. So
I think it's
I
great.
don't know, just listening and not. I used to say, I think one of the gifts that God gave me was just not seeing obstacles. Like if you run into things but it doesn't stop you. Like you can take a left or right or look back or, whatever you can. I don't know. There's lots of things. I also just love being a continual learner. Like I love learning new things. So, why not give it a try?
Wow.
So
I think it's
work
awesome.
where I
It's
live
incredible.
now, so the babies are pretty much growing up on the farm because I watch each of them as much as I can during the week, and we got lots of animals.
Yeah.
sometimes
Oh, there
I
they
think,
are.
oh,
Look at
there
him. Look at that little man.
Wow, adorable.
So cute.
They're awesome. So Karlee's little guy.
He's it. Just saying.
He's not. He's all toddlers are, but he has Karlee as a mom, and his dad breaks horses, trains horses, rides in the rodeo. So that poor kid is doomed.
Yeah.
Wow. Both sides.
And
Awesome.
Thea is a thinker just like her mom, and she's got an awesome personality.
It's pretty cool being a grandma, huh? I know. I have three. I have three little grandsons.
People tell you how great it is, but no one prepares you for
that's right.
how much more your heart can grow.
Yeah. That's, you think you love your kids, and then those grandkids, and you're like, get away.
Oh my gosh. It's a whole different level because they're not yours, and it's a whole nother level.
Yeah, we got twins. Woo, boys.
Oh, I'm kidding.
That's right. We thought we wanted twins. No.
Yeah. The girls tease me like they each got one baby, but I got twins.
Yes.
Yeah, you got the twins.
I have
That's
difficult
great.
to have them both now, and I had them both Friday, and they were both getting molars, and they were ornery and having competitive meltdowns, and you still love every minute of it, but yeah, I can't imagine having twins.
Well, they're really like brother and sister, right? I mean, they're always sounds like they're together a lot, so that's kind of cool,
Yep.
Right on. Well, okay, you guys, I think it's time to settle this up. But I just want to thank you all for coming. It's been so fun to catch up.
And what a wonderful story! Just your whole life. Great story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing. Hey, if you check out that video link, Michelle Bauer Carpenter, I have to say her name. She did that. She's a professor in college in Denver, and she did that video for us as a project for school. Like, we could have never paid for that. So
Are you serious? The Clockworks,
the clock
women with horsepower.
I handed her.
I wanted to ask you something there because very interesting. I noticed at the very end of that there was a credit that said Salina Star Route, and I don't know if you noticed that. I don't know if it was Salina Star Route Productions. There's a little mining town called Salina near here, and people that are on that, their postal route is Salina Star Route. And I wanted to ask you that if there was any connection to Colorado on that.
He lives way up on a weird little mountain, beautiful little. Just
right outside Boulder. Then
Carpenter. I have to. I mean, I owe her. I mean, that video, like, that's something my grandchildren and great grandchildren, like, that's our story, as far as our period of time racing. And she captured that. Like, we could have never paid for that. We could have never put that together on our own. And I handed her just boxes of photos and hard drives and pictures, and she put that together like that.
And we can get the link to that is on YouTube, or I think Chris had it up earlier. So people can go back and watch that.
Yeah, we actually got the link up during the show, during the
just
chat.
Give her some love.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Right on.
I'm sorry. What was her name again?
Michelle Bauer Carpenter.
Michelle Bauer Carpenter.
Yeah, great job. Just beautiful. The visuals were great. Just everything about it. Well, thank you guys.
Thank
and
you.
we'll be in touch. And
good to see you guys.
We'll see you guys next week. And, thanks for coming. Be kind. Be safe. Be nice to each other. We'll see you guys next week. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you, Mike.
See you, Chris. Been a great week. Looking forward to meeting again next week.
Take care. Yeah.
That horse is going back to the barn.
There you go. Good night, everybody.
All right.